when you're in misalignment, like life is going to give you signs. It's going to give you like these consistent patterns or like things that come up time and time and time again. Because the way you're doing it right now is not working.
Yeah.
Right. And if you're trying to elevate and grow, it could be you. It could be like certain things that you continue to do that, like just can't go with you in this new season of your life.
Yeah. What happens when your healing becomes the message you were always meant to share? Today, we go behind the creative with Jay Huntley, the founder of Protect Your Mental. From working as a therapist and stepping into faith-led creative entrepreneurship, Jay's journey is rooted in calling, and she knows all about rebuilding from the inside out. Now she uses storytelling, ministry, and community to help others do the same. Let's go behind the creative with Jay Huntley.
Let's take a look behind the creative.
So, Jay, thanks so much for being here.
Thank you for having me. I feel so honored.
I feel honored. This is one of my favorite conversations I feel like I'm going to get to have because we're going to talk about what's really going on behind a creative. I always introduce everyone that comes on the show, but I want to hear from you. Okay. Who is Jay Huntley?
Lordy, I feel like that's such a loaded question. Who is she? Who am I? Have mercy. Well, so I'm Jaya Huntley, and I love how Christelle calls me Jay. Like all the time. But that's what my name, in terms of like how it's spelled, that's what it looks like. But to answer your question, who is Jaya Huntley? I am first a woman of God. Like that's who I want to be rooted in terms of if I'm like that all the time. Maybe not. Depends on the day. I'm a mother. I'm a wife. I'm a therapist. I think I'm like, I wear so many hats. I do so many roles in so many different days. So I think it just depends on the day. But I mean, I think I'm just who am I? I'm all the things. Depends on the day. It depends on who you're asking.
Yeah. And, you said it, you're also a therapist and a clinician. And as a therapist and clinician, I always find that there's a story that leads you to do that work, right?
Yeah, for sure.
It's very soul-led and grounded work. So I'm curious, what led you into that field?
I think it chose me. Like, I think this field chose me. When I was first trying to figure out what I wanted to major in college, I chose the thing that like will bring the most money. I think it was like pharmaceutical sciences. Later found out that like science is not my forte. Math and all of those things, like that's just something I was like, this is above me. So I quickly changed my field, my major, and I chose psychology at the time. Not really knowing not really knowing that the full reason why I chose psychology, but I think, I don't know, that it just made the most sense to me at the time that I was trying to figure out like what I wanted to focus on in school. Fast forward, got another major in clinical mental health counseling. And I think again, like at the time, I didn't fully know what I wanted to pursue or why I even chose it. But while I was in the program, I think I was slowly finding my way in terms of, okay, I feel like here's what I want to do. And so I created a brand, Protect Your Mental, knowing that I wanted to do something different in the field or just do more. Like I just didn't want to be like a therapist or that kind of thing. But I created the brand Protect Your Mental. And I think as soon as I like made that decision, I started to understand like why I created the brand, which is to just give myself what I felt like I needed all in like my life, which was a sense of safety, was a sense of peace, was a sense of, joy. And I think with the brand, like you get to kind of like build yourself up to learn how to get those things that you need. You don't know it right away.
Yeah.
And so to make a long story short, like why I chose therapy was I think it just made the most sense. Like, it just came so naturally. It came so effortlessly. And like, I really truly believe like we all need a therapist in our life. We all need that like one person that's going to hold space for you. We need that person who's going to pour into you in a way you didn't know you needed until you're actually having that interaction.
Yeah.
And so I don't know, there's so many, and it again, like, it depends on the day when you ask me, because like some days I question like, why am I a therapist? Because life ain't easy. I be going through my own things, and sometimes it's, sometimes I need myself as a therapist,
Well, and there is that, every therapist needs a therapist.
Sure.
Everybody says that,
sure.
But you said something I want to flesh out, and this might be because, I studied psychology, so I'm like a little bit of a nerd, but I know a lot of people may ask this question too. And there is a difference between counseling and psychology.
Yes.
So can you share your perspective of what made the difference between you choosing to study counseling? Because you mentioned, you chose to do that route versus psychology.
I think the difference between the two, I think psychology is the study of the mind, right? Like, it's the research behind why people act the way they do, why they respond the way they do, things of that sort. So it's just, just studying who we are as human beings and why we operate the way they do, in my opinion. And then counseling is kind of like just the act of, healing. It's the act of, learning who you are. It's the act of like implementing tools to figure out, or, to cope through the hardness that, one may go through. So, I mean, that's kind of in short, just psychology is the study, counseling is like the act of doing.
Yeah. And I found that, and counseling is really focused on helping someone in today's time to move forward a lot of the time. So I love that you mentioned that, because in Protect Your Mental, when you built this brand, how did you know that it was going to be more than an idea? How did you know when it was time for it to be something actualized? Because Protect Your Mental is more than a brand.
It's more than a brand. It's like the act of doing. So when people hear Protect Your Mental, it could differentiate with so many people of like what that means. And that's why I love it so much. But, like what is that what you asked? What is Protect Your Mental?
Yeah. How
to become more than what it is. I think community. I think like being a living, breathing person of the brand, like I'm pretty transparent. I feel like I am. I feel like I'm pretty transparent about, the day-to-day life and struggles and things I feel like I go through. And I feel like I also bring that into like, a therapy session with the client. I think authenticity is like the biggest way to get a person to open up and feel really comfortable about their experience and even trust you into their walk with healing. But, just being a community and like, I think just knowing how to speak people's language. I'd love to kind of just, post different things on a day-to-day. It could be learning things, learning tools. It could be, just having that dialogue of like, having that dialogue of like feeling like I go through this, like I really resonate with, what this person is saying in, in certain moments. And I think, just that's part of like why Protect Your Mental is the way, or what it is community. It's a village. It's whatever you feel like you need in certain moments of the day. It's just, I don't know. I feel like it's so not niche.
Yeah.
It's like a little more broader depending on who you're asking.
Yeah. And I love that because I know you have a certain population, right? So a population meaning there's a target audience or there is a group of people that you serve, and yours is those that suffer with addiction or those who may be battling substance abuse. And so I'm curious, based on the understanding of the challenge that you may be navigating with some of your clients or so I'm curious to know, how do you take some of what you've seen, in some of these conversations, and what kind of strategies or tools would you give to even creatives, who may be struggling with some of their own stressors,
for sure,
that you wish more creatives knew?
And I love that question, and I think it's not as complex as like one may think it is, or one may perceive it to be. It depends on who you're asking. So sometimes we need to slow down. So like in the moment that I'm encouraging someone to slow down, I would probably provide tools or suggestions of like, okay, spend some time journaling, spend some time creating like a schedule or a routine, so you can be very intentional about, your day-to-days versus just going out on a whim. And now you're trying to move at the wind, but you're not being really intentional about, how you show up in those different moments. So it's, it could be things like that, like, just slow down, spend some time journaling, like, wake up, you could journal, you can pray, you could do whatever you feel like is necessary to really, get the day started. I think another thing like I would encourage too is to move your body. Like it, it's as much as we're thinking like, again, like how hard that could be, because we're all on Instagram seeing how like people get it in, but you have to do what works best for you. And sometimes it's just like, taking a walk or of some sort, taking the scenic route, because sometimes, and I got this from what's her name? And this is so bad, so I'm so glad y'all can like cut this out. But no, Tabitha Brown, like she was encouraging, like take the scenic route, because then that'll, spark something different in your mind that you may not have known you needed, or, what have you. Yeah. And I think too, be mindful of what you eat. Yeah. Like, I don't know about any.
Are you trying to talk about when I just ate that Twix bar?
Not at all. No.
I feel like she just said that. Did you hear that? Did you guys catch that too, when she didn't want to eat that Twix bar, but I did?
Crystal, I would have been right there with you
when I ate that Twix bar. I'm just
ebbs and flows. Like it's a balance. A Twix bar is fine. A little mini to get your blood sugar up, like that's totally fine. But when you're like over consuming, that's where I question. What are you doing? Like, what are you trying to replace? For me, I'm a stress eater. So if you notice, I'm like snacking all damn day. I'm like 9 times out of 10, I need to face whatever it is that I'm facing. Because sometimes that'll be a distraction. Sometimes I'm avoidant.
That's key.
Yeah. So I think those few things, journaling, moving your body, being mindful of what you eat. And then again, like lastly, like lean on your village. Like that is so key. And I don't know, again, like who's out there listening, but like if I'm in a like not so great space, like sometimes I'll isolate myself, and sometimes it's necessary, but like I have to put a time frame on like how long I do that. And so when that happens, or like once I figure out, okay, I'm gonna take this time, but I'm gonna be intentional about, my village, and like just leaning on them when I need it, because again, like sometimes they could give me what I may be depleted of. And so those are just some things like I would encourage of my clients who, who's struggling with addiction. Like that's literally like what they go through. Substances make them isolate. They eat poorly, things of that sort. And like their coping strategies are just trash. So like to help kind of like get through those moments of like where they would use substances in place of like those healthy practices, that, that's where I would kind of like switch the two.
Yeah.
Like being intentional about your village, being mindful of what you eat. Like, it's not going to be perfect, but I think you want to be, like I said, intentional. And then like spend some time journaling, spend some time taking walks, like just pouring back into you.
Yeah. You know what? And I appreciate you said that, because you said something key. I think that was a part of my research as well, because personally, like you mentioned, one of the reasons I chose to study and go into do psychology was, a lot of us sometimes have personal experiences as well.
Sure.
And sometimes when we are running away from certain things or certain issues and challenges, we may find ourselves doing other things, right?
Absolutely.
Or trying to distract ourselves with other things. And so that is what led me to study it was organizational psychology. However, what I studied was employee mental health. Yeah. And so a large part of that was just, I found people are in misalignment. Right.
Yeah.
And there was
that's so real.
A big part of that, and of these real life situations where certain groups of people, especially creatives, are, just working outside of their fields. They're not working in the spaces where they truly are, aligned to, and they are called to work in these spaces.
That's so good.
That's
so good too. Yeah. That, and, like you have to, and that's where, I don't know, like, I feel like I want to encourage everyone, like, give it a shot. This is the time where you, like, pour into you. Don't worry about the outside noise, because they don't have to live your life. Like, the people outside just giving their opinions and things of that sort, like, they don't have to live your life, and they're not going to be the ones to, like, really make you happy. And so I think that's so key, is to, learn who you are, learn like what it is that you love, learn what you're truly interested in. And so like, I think part of that is like, once you figure those things out, like the outside noise won't even exist, because you're living a life for you. Yeah. And not the people around us. Yeah. I mean, don't get me wrong. They play a part. I'm thinking about parents, right? Like how much we want to appease our parents and just make them so proud. But I think too, at some point, like that shit not gonna work for quite, after we figure out who the hell we are. Right. So whoever's listening. Yeah. Do you, for you.
Yeah. And that's the beauty of it, because we are multifaceted people.
For sure.
We are nuanced and complex individuals. We're not meant to just be one thing. No. And so I think when we find that we are these beings that are creative, we don't have to box ourselves in and find ourselves in these misaligned spaces that sometimes we try to put ourselves in. So that tension and the friction that, sometimes we find ourselves in is almost like, self-imposed. And,
talk that.
I know, like,
it.
for you,
That's
Jay,
real.
like you're also multifaceted, right? Like you are speaking a lot from the point of view of a therapist, and but you're also creative. And
I am a creative.
You can see, I mean, look at her. She's
oh my gosh,
creative, and how she even puts herself together, honey.
This just started.
She's the drip queen. I want everyone to, like, we're going to talk about where you can find Jay, but she is a drip queen. Okay. And she is like, everywhere you go, like even Art Basel, like I just saw you there, and she was just together.
Oh my gosh.
Oh my gosh.
Whatever.
So
whatever.
I want to talk about your intersections. Like, I want you to tell us, like,
what? Tell y'all what.
I mean, you being so multifaceted and like you having so many great intersections, I think it's so valuable for all of us to own those components of ourselves.
For sure.
But,
For sure.
I think that is one of the great things that I saw stand out with you. And how do you, even besides or incorporating Protect Your Mental, how do you bring these different intersections of your work together?
Yeah. I mean, I think too, and I forgot to mention this, but like when I created Protect Your Mental, I didn't want it to have like kind of that stuffy therapeutic approach. Like I wanted it to be very like I wanted people to be able to connect and like, feel seen and feel like, like this person can speak my language. And so that's what's important. So part of it, like, I don't know. I feel like I let it all hang out in terms of like the creative piece. I think with Protect Your Mental, I get different point of views. So like if you're ever on socials with us, I'll have clips of, celebrities speaking on mental health or just like speaking from perspectives and like life events where, not a lot of people may not see it. So I love to like capture just this diverse scene of like celebrities or just day-to-day people who are taking a day at a time to figure life out.
Yeah.
So that's like one component. And then I love to just, again, like I have this dope ass family. And so I like to capture just what I would want Protect Your Mental to be seen as. It's just like lifestyle, day-to-day stuff, which, people need to see that. People need to see the complexities of life where it's not this always polished. Like I'm not always this done up. I think that makes it more relatable.
Yeah.
And then like another creative component is just like wearing affirmations. Like Protect Your Mental has merch. And so I think like if you can kind of like tie creativeness, style, and just, like lifestyle, day-to-day things, like you get this whole experience of like ways to protect your mental.
Yeah. I love it.
And so that's the creative component of it. Because like think about like what we consume day to day.
Yeah.
Like lifestyle, fashion, things we eat, like things people eat, and that is so aesthetically pleasing. But that's the things that we consume. And so if I can kind of like tie all those things, it's like a triple whammy of just like, dang, like it's not as hard as it's not as hard as one has to make it.
Right.
Like it can look like this, it can look like that. So
I love it. And I love that. I love that you even mentioned like you find these moments in our everyday lives to make Protect Your Mental a part of that. And how do you keep yourself, with grounded with all these hats you wore as, creative in your working life? How do you find your grounding in your own life?
Some days I don't. Some days I'm just like really on the struggle bus, and I am not always like this positive, bubbly, like up to par woman. Like sometimes it gets odd some days. But I mean, like if I'm being intentional, like I think it's important that I get outside and move my body, because that's something that I've noticed. If I'm like just being still and stagnant, like that'll be me in that moment, and it'll probably bleed over into my like day-to-day life. So I don't want that to happen. So I try to be intentional about moving my body. And I'm gonna be honest too, like if Chris is listening to this, he's gonna be like, girl. But like Chris is a big part of like that, like encouraging me.
Who's Chris?
Chris is my partner, my love, my life, my hubby. But that's been a big encourager and like important thing that for me to stay grounded. I think too, journaling. Like I really enjoy journaling. I really kind of like just love putting it out on paper, like in this like it's for my eyes. It's not judgmental. Like I can make grammatical incorrect things, like all those things. It's just like this non-judgmental space that's just for me.
Yeah.
My village, man, like that's a key thing too, like leaning on my village, spending time with my friends, my girls, spending time with them. I don't know, they just bring the light out of me too.
Yeah.
And then I try to be very intentional about like my relationship with God. It ain't been easy, it ain't been perfect, but he's been so kind, patient, and just reaffirming. And I think, just being able to understand his character for me has been, that's probably part of the reason why I'm like even here.
Yeah.
Like being able to know who he is for me and just be reaffirmed of that. Like I can't not like just be grateful for that.
Yeah. I love it.
Thank you.
I love all of your tips on how to stay grounded. And with that being said, I feel like that's a great part to take a break and to remind everyone else, take a break, stay grounded, take a moment. And while we're taking a moment, we're going to hear a little bit about how you can take a break in the best way possible. And we'll be right back.
Very good.
Did you know that how you sleep makes all the difference of how you wake up, how you work, how you create? And I'm not just talking the time you go to bed, but I mean the type of pillows you sleep on, the shape, the fluff, what it's actually made of. You need to be sleeping on Coop Sleep Goods customizable pillows. I personally sleep on the original adjustable pillow cut out for neck support, the original maternity adjustable pillow. I'm not pregnant. Lumbar support is important. The original adjustable body pillows, they support my back. Lumbar support is important. Coop has a new pillow, the orthopedic pillow. It's designed for neck pain relief and cervical support. And this is great if you wake up with crazy neck pain or posture discomfort. It's ergonomic and it provides targeted cervical spinal support to encourage proper alignment and comfort throughout the night. And who doesn't want that? It has customizable spinal alignment and a customizable neck bolster. And this all helps you align your head, your neck, your shoulders, and your spine to help you reduce strain. It has memory foam, and I love memory foam. The structure helps you to support yourself through the night, so you don't have to reposition yourself and keep rolling over and over all night. And obviously, it's Coop, so there's easy adjustability all around. So everyone can personalize the pillow as you get older or as your needs change. Can you tell these pillows are designed to solve your sleep problems? Visit coopsleepgoods.com/Dr. Christelle. That's Dr. Christelle for 20% off of your first purchase and get the sleep you need with the pillows you deserve. Jay, we talked about misalignment, and people sometimes fear slowing down because it makes them have to face truths or face themselves, right? And they might not be ready to face that misalignment. It might not even be misalignment. They might be afraid to just face something that they might be running away from. They might not even understand that they're running away from something. It could be burnout. It could be they're in the wrong relationship. It could be that they're in the wrong place, the wrong time, all the things. Do you find that there are typical like emotional, physical, spiritual signs that show up when people are in this misalignment or they're burnt out or they're facing some type of challenge?
The signs, like I think spiritual signs, right? Like if you really attempt to lean on God, like the spiritual signs it's like this pattern. It's this consistent pattern of like life events, of similar feelings that these life events bring up. And like in my mind, I feel like it's like one of those things where it's like test after test after test. Like you keep doing the same things and like these same patterns, these life events or similar patterns in life events show up. And the outcome is that like these things don't work out.
Yeah.
I think that's like one of the things where when you're in misalignment, when you're in misalignment, like life is going to give you signs. It's going to give you like these consistent patterns or like things that come up time and time and time again. And it's like, okay, I feel like that's God's way of telling you like, look, try something else, do something different. Because the way you're doing it right now is not working.
Yeah.
Right. And if you're trying to elevate and grow, it could be you. It could be like certain things that you continue to do that, you know, like just can't go with you in this new season of your life.
Yeah.
And I'm a testament to that because like, I'm going to say a hard head makes a soft behind.
Okay.
And so I feel like
your mama my mama?
Not quite, but shucks, it may be. But I think that's sometimes like how God shows up too. Like I keep telling you these things. I keep like informing you like these things won't work. Like parts of you
Yeah.
that's trying to show up in like this space can't come.
Yeah.
So this is where, and this is starting to sound spiritual, but like this is where like the old parts of you like kind of have to die off.
Yeah.
And so that's even hard too, right? Like I think that's part of the misalignment is allowing certain parts of you to overtake the new and improved version that God is like wanting to bless you or bless certain areas of your life.
Ooh, I got to ask you a question before you go to the next point. How does someone detach from the old them, the old patterns, the old versions of oneself? How does someone detach from that? Because someone could say, well, okay, Jay, I want to definitely lean into this new version.
Yeah.
I want to get rid of these patterns. I don't want to be in misalignment. Okay, God. Or, okay, me, I don't want to do misalignment. Who wants that?
I hope nobody. But, you know, like sometimes two people get so comfortable in like where they are. And so, I mean, in regards to like knowing how to detach from that, like you have to have a level of willingness to let certain things go, like truly, right? And I think it depends on the person. Like sometimes assistance has to be had. Like sometimes you either have to like go to therapy to work through those parts of you, because again, I think too, certain parts of us, like there's a reason why they show up the way they do. So we have to find out like what the root of that is. And then once we have that sense of peace and sense of like, okay, I feel like I've healed this part of me, then I think that gives us the permission to move forward to the next thing, or just really embrace like, okay, like this doesn't have to continue to be my story. And I think especially if you're in a space where you want to just continue to learn and grow, like I think we'll find that out. Like it happened, but it doesn't have to like continue to stay with me.
Yeah.
So I think in terms of like detaching, I think working through parts of you, and that could be with therapy, that could be with just, you know, a relationship with God. It could be like you have a moment of journaling and you just picked up on a pattern of some sort because you're pretty consistent in like your journaling. And like, I don't know if anyone does this, but sometimes I like to read back on certain entries that has transpired. And like, I have to read it because sometimes I'll forget like just certain moments I've been through, how impactful they were. And again, like it helps me to know like there was a reason why like I even showed up in this capacity or in this regard. So sometimes that's necessary too. What else? I don't know. That's so loaded. That's such a loaded like question and response. And I think it just depends on what the person is going through, what they feel like they need in certain moments. Like it's so layered.
In different seasons I've learned like moving from one season to another, the transformation in that is, I love that you mentioned just being first aware that there is a pattern, because with a pattern it first shows that you want to move forward, right? So I'm paying attention to what's happening here, and I do have a willingness to take the step. I think that once you detach, you have to be willing to let go of some like the memories, like there's sometimes like comfort in like the pain and like the memories and like what it meant to me,
because like that's all we know in certain you know seasons. And I think too that's where we have to break out of, or it'll keep us stuck like Chuck. Like it's okay to say like I honor the person that got through the pain, right? Like I honor that season of my life, but
it doesn't serve me anymore. It was a chapter.
For sure.
And now, like, I'm ready for the new. I'm ready to be aligned. I'm ready to walk in alignment.
Yeah.
And I think that's one of the things, like, it gets exciting when you start to think about the future. And,
for sure.
I love that. And I wanted to ask you, one of the questions that I wanted to ask you as we land is really about your brilliance factor. And one of the things we talk about on the show often is your set of competencies, your set of experiences, that you mentioned that shaped you from your community, from your village, from what you've taken with you from Protect Your Mental, your life as a clinician, as a therapist. The brilliance factor really is about your competencies that make you, that is individual to you. But what would you use to define as your brilliance factor? That's a part one of this question. And then how have you used that to brand yourself in your career?
I think my brilliance factor would be just being super, super authentic. Like, I think just showing up as me at whatever capacity that I'm in, because it defines that I'm human. Like, I'm human at the end of the day. And so I've been pretty, like, whenever I'm working with someone, like, I'm pretty transparent about, like, the capacity I'm in. And so, for example, if I say I've scheduled a session for a particular day, and, on that day I'm not feeling at my best, like, I'll share with my client, like, where I am, and I want to show up fuller for our next session. So we probably won't have session today, but we'll choose a different day. And so I think part of that too, like, just being authentic is like my sense of brilliancy. And I think too, like, I feel like all life lessons has really catapulted like where I am in these moments too. Like, the people that I've met, the people that see the light in me that I haven't always seen. And sometimes, like, I feel like that's kind of been my pull through, like, me being able to, like, pull through certain seasons in my life. And so too, I think, like, part of the people who are pouring into me, I think, like, sometimes they've, like, so I have a supervisor that I'm thinking about when I first started therapy. She was the person who would assign my caseload, who would kind of, like, tell me which groups to facilitate. And I remember during this time, she gave me, like, the hardest client caseload. Like, all of my clients felt like I felt like they were all freaking struggling. And I was like, Ansley, that's her name. Ansley, like, what are you doing? She's like, and I tell her this to this day. I think I tell her that I thank her for just being able to see that light and just really just pushing me and not letting me fold under pressure. Like, not saying, like, okay, I'm not doing this. Like, I can't do this. Take these clients off my caseload. Like, she helped me through that. She was supportive through, like, moments that felt super, super hard. So that's one thing. And then, like, I just have people who challenge me. Like, I have Chris who challenges me. Like, I have friends who's like, okay, Jai, like, I hear you, but okay, let's try something different. Like, they're not going to lean into my crap. As sometimes I can give that. So being surrounded by people who see the light, who are willing to challenge you, who are willing to be upfront. Because I think I used to fold under, like, being challenged. I'm like, but I've also learned that this is super, super necessary to get to places that I want to be in.
And I think that's it's shaped you and shaped your brilliance. Absolutely.
For sure.
What can everybody do to find you and protect your mental? How can we find you on social media?
So I'm on Instagram and TikTok. It's Protect Your Mental _. So it's all, spelled out. I have Substack. That's kind of just like part of my, like, call it digital journaling.
I love it.
Substack account, which is under Protect Your Mental, protectyourmental.com, where you can get merch and all that stuff. So you can kind of find us, like, on all the things. Facebook too. Facebook, Twitter is Protect Your Mental.
And how about this merch? Because I heard you talk about this merch. I want to find the merch.
ProtectYourMental.com. It's under the shop link. So I have some things in stock.
Yes.
So if you guys want to shop with us, we got tees. We'll have hoodies and crew necks coming out soon.
Love
and then I'll
it.
restock on the hats as well.
All right, I'm going to be wearing one next episode, okay?
Okay, noted.
There we go. And I want to ask everyone else out there, I have to ask you, how are you protecting your mental to produce your greatest creation? Thank you so much for watching this week's episode of Behind the Creative. And follow us too on the Creative Corporate platforms, where you can learn how to design your career and brand your brilliance. We'll see you next time on Behind the Creative.
Let's take a look behind the creative.
I always introduce every person that comes on the call, the conversation, not the call.
Again, I'm so honored. I feel like so official now. I got invited to Behind the Creative.
I love it. Oh, we're going to put that. We're going to cut that. We're going to cut that.
As you should. Period.